Atmaram. In the village of Vedan, Mahadev Sona was a well-known man. He would sit from dawn to dusk in his workshop, hammering away at the anvil. The constant sound of his work became so familiar to the villagers that if it ever stopped, it felt like something was missing. Every morning, Mahadev would carry a caged parrot and sing hymns as he walked towards the pond. His frail body, sunken face, and bent back in the dim light might have given an unfamiliar observer the impression of seeing a ghost. As soon as people heard his voice chanting, Sat Gurudat Shivdat Data, they knew that dawn had arrived. Mahadev's family life was far from happy. He had 3 sons, 3 daughters-in-law, and several grandchildren, but no one lightened his burden. His sons would say, "Let us enjoy life while Grandpa is alive. After all, the responsibility will fall on us eventually." Poor Mahadev often went hungry. Mealtime in his house was marked by such chaotic bickering that he would leave the table hungry and go to sleep, smoking his hookah made of coconut shell. His professional life was even more distressing. Despite being skilled in his work, with his gold smelting more refined and his chemical processes more arduous than others, he frequently endured insults from suspicious and impatient customers. But Mahadev would listen to everything with unshaken calmness, his head bowed. As soon as the quarrel subsided, he would look at his parrot and chant, Sat Gurudat Shivdat Data, which brought him complete peace of mind. One day, by chance, a child opened the cage door, and the parrot flew away. When Mahadev looked up and saw the empty cage, his heart sank. The parrot was gone. He panicked and started scanning the rooftops for his beloved bird. In the entire world, this parrot was the only thing he truly cherished. His sons and grandsons had long lost his affection. The children's mischief disrupted his work, and he had no love for his sons not because they were useless, but because they kept him from the joy of regularly hammering gold. He was annoyed by the neighbors, who often borrowed fire from his furnace. This parrot was his only refuge from all these disturbances. It brought him no trouble. He was at that age when a man desires nothing but peace. The parrot sat on a rooftop. Mahadev took down the cage, showed it to the bird, and called, "Come, come, Sat Gurudat Shivdat Data." But the village boys gathered around, clapping and shouting, while crows began cawing overhead. The parrot flew out of the village and perched on a tree. Mahadev, carrying the empty cage, ran after it. People were amazed at his speed. It was a beautiful, living representation of attachment. By noon, the farmers were returning from their fields. They found great amusement in teasing Mahadev, who was often the subject of ridicule. Some threw pebbles, others clapped their hands. The parrot flew again and landed far away in a mango grove, high on a branch. Mahadev, still clutching the empty cage, hopped like a frog towards it. When he reached the grove, his feet were burning, and his head was spinning. After resting for a while, he picked up the cage again and chanted, Sat Gurudat Shivdat Data. The parrot descended from the top branch to a lower one but watched Mahadev with wary eyes. Mahadev thought the bird was scared, so he set the cage down and hid behind another tree. The parrot looked around cautiously, then, feeling safe, descended to sit atop the cage. Mahadev's heart leaped. Chanting his mantra, he slowly approached the parrot, but just as he reached out to grab it, the bird flew away again to another tree. This continued until evening. The parrot hopped from branch to branch, sometimes sitting on the cage, sometimes perching on the edge and peering at its food and water dishes, only to fly away again. If the old man was the embodiment of attachment, the parrot was the embodiment of illusion. Eventually, evening turned into night, and the battle between attachment and illusion vanished into the darkness. Night fell, and a deep darkness enveloped everything. The parrot was nowhere to be seen, hidden among the leaves. Mahadev knew that the bird wouldn't fly away at night nor return to its cage, yet he refused to leave the spot. He hadn't eaten all day. Even the time for dinner passed without him taking a sip of water, but he felt neither hunger nor thirst. Without the parrot, his life seemed empty, dry, and meaningless. He worked day and night because it was his inner drive, and he carried out other tasks out of habit. These tasks never gave him a sense of vitality. The parrot was the only thing that reminded him of his consciousness. Losing it was like losing his soul. Throughout the night, Mahadev, exhausted and hungry, dozed off now and then but would wake up with a start and call out in the darkness, Sat Gurudat Shivdat Data. It was past midnight when he suddenly heard a noise. He saw a dim light flickering under a nearby tree, where a few men were sitting, talking, and smoking a hookah. The smell of tobacco made him restless. He called out loudly, "Sat Gurudat Shivdat Data," and walked towards the men, hoping for a puff. But as soon as they saw him, they scattered in all directions, like deer hearing the sound of a gunshot. Mahadev shouted, "Stop, stop." Then it dawned on him they were thieves. He yelled even louder, "Thieves, thieves, catch them," but the thieves didn't look back. Mahadev reached the spot where the thieves had been and found a pot that was blackened by soot. His heart raced as he reached inside and pulled out a gold coin. In the light of the flickering lamp, he confirmed it was indeed a coin. Without hesitation, he grabbed the pot, extinguished the lamp, and hid under the tree. In an instant, he had gone from being a saint to a thief. But then doubt crept in. What if the thieves returned and overpowered him? He took a few coins, tied them around his waist, and dug several holes in the ground with a dry stick. He filled the holes with the remaining coins and covered them with dirt. In his mind's eye, Mahadev now envisioned a different world, filled with concerns and fantasies. Although he feared losing the treasure, his desires had already started to take hold. A new house was built, a large jewelry shop opened, connections with family members were restored, and luxuries were accumulated. Then, he embarked on a pilgrimage and, upon his return, organized a grand yajna, sacrificial ritual, and a feast for the Brahmins. After that, a Shiva temple and a well were constructed, and a garden was planted. He began listening to religious stories daily and welcoming saints and ascetics with great reverence. Suddenly, he worried about what he would do if the thieves returned. To test himself, he picked up the pot and ran as fast as he could for 200 paces. It felt as if he had grown wings on his feet. His anxiety was eased. Immersed in these fantasies, the night passed by. Dawn arrived, the wind stirred, and the birds began to sing. Just then, Mahadev heard the familiar chant, "Sat Gurudat Shivdat Data, Ram ke charan mein chit laga." This chant had always been on Mahadev's lips. He would utter it thousands of times a day, but its spiritual meaning had never touched his heart. It was just like a tune played by an instrument, meaningless and devoid of any impact. His heart had been a barren tree, and the pure air couldn't make it sway or hum. But now, new shoots and branches had sprouted on that tree, and the breeze made it sway and resonate. It was dawn, and nature was bathed in a tender light. At that moment, the parrot folded its wings and descended from the high branch as if a star had fallen from the sky and settled into the cage. Mahadev, overjoyed, ran over, picked up the cage, and said, "Come, Atmaram. You gave me much trouble, but you also made my life worthwhile. Now, I will keep you in a silver cage and adorn it with gold." His entire being began to resonate with praise for the Almighty. "Lord, how merciful you are! Your infinite love and compassion have touched a wretch like me, who was never worthy of such grace." His soul, overwhelmed with these pure emotions, cried out, "Sat Gurudat Shivdat Data, Ram ke charan mein chit laga." With the cage in one hand and the pot of coins tucked under his arm, Mahadev headed home. When Mahadev reached home, it was still dark. Along the way, he encountered no one except a dog, which had no interest in gold coins. He hid the pot in a trough, covered it well with coal, and placed it in his room. When daylight broke, he went straight to the priest's house. The priest was lost in thought, worried about an upcoming court hearing for which he didn't have a single coin. Just then, Mahadev arrived and greeted him. The priest turned his face away, thinking, where did this harbinger of bad luck come from? Who knows if I'll even get food today? Annoyed, he asked, "What is it, Mahadev? Can't you see I'm busy with my prayers?" Mahadev replied, "Maharaj, I want to host a Satyanarayan Katha at my house today." The priest was astonished and couldn't believe his ears. Hosting a religious ceremony at Mahadev's house was as unlikely as a beggar giving alms. He asked, "What's the occasion?" Mahadev said, "Nothing special. I just felt like listening to the Lord's story today." Preparations began early in the morning. Invitations were sent to the nearby villages. After the Katha, there was also a feast. Whoever heard about it was astonished, wondering how grass could grow in the sand. In the evening, when everyone had gathered, and the priest was seated on his throne, Mahadev stood up and said in a loud voice, "Brothers, I've spent my entire life in deceit and trickery. I don't know how many people I've cheated, how much pure gold I've turned into false gold. But now, the Lord has shown me mercy and wants to wipe away the stain from my soul. I openly declare that anyone who has any dues against me, whom I have wronged in any way, come and settle your accounts. If someone can't come here, let them know they can come to me anytime over the next month and settle their accounts. No need for witnesses or proof." The crowd was stunned. Some nodded their heads in sympathy, while others doubted, wondering how Mahadev would repay everyone, given that the amount could total thousands. One Thakur teased, "And what about those who have passed away?" Mahadev replied, "Their family members must still be around." But at that moment, people were more curious about where Mahadev had suddenly acquired so much wealth than they were about collecting their dues. No one dared to approach him. These were simple villages, they didn't know how to dig up old grievances. Besides, most couldn't even remember what they were owed by Mahadev, and the sacred occasion made them hesitant to speak up. The most important thing was that Mahadev's newfound piety had captivated them. Suddenly, the priest spoke up, "Do you remember the gold I gave you to make a necklace? You shorted me a few mashas in the weighing." Mahadev replied, "Yes, I remember. How much did you lose?" The priest said, "It must have been at least 50 rupees. Mahadev took out 2 gold coins from his waist and placed them in front of the priest. The priest's greed sparked murmurs among the people. They whispered, "This is dishonest." At most, the loss would have been a few rupees, but the priest squeezed 50 out of him. He has no fear of God. He pretends to be a holy man, but his intentions are so corrupt. Ram, Ram. People began to feel a sort of reverence for Mahadev. An hour passed, but not a single person among the thousands gathered stood up. Then Mahadev said again, "It seems that you all have forgotten your accounts, so let's proceed with the Katha today. I will wait for you over the next month. After that, I'll go on a pilgrimage. I request all of you to help me find salvation." For a month, Mahadev waited for his creditors. He couldn't sleep at night for fear of thieves. He no longer worked, and even his habit of drinking was abandoned. He welcomed any saint or monk who came to his door with due respect. His reputation for piety spread far and wide. The month passed, and not a single person came to settle accounts. Mahadev then realized how much goodness and decency there is in the world. He understood that the world is bad for the wicked but good for the righteous. 50 years have passed since this incident. If you visit Vedan today, you'll see a golden spire from a distance. It belongs to the temple there. Adjacent to it is a large pond with blooming lotuses, whose fish no one catches. On the bank of the pond is a large shrine, the memorial of Atmaram. Various legends surround him. Some say that the jewel-encrusted parrot cage ascended to heaven, while others claim that the parrot chanted, "Sat Gurudat," and disappeared. But the truth is that this moon-like bird was swallowed by a cat-like demon. Even today, people say that you can still hear the voice by the pond at midnight, "Sat Gurudat Shivdat Data, Ram ke charan mein chit laga." There are also many stories about Mahadev. The most popular one is that after Atmaram's death, Mahadev went to the Himalayas with some ascetics and never returned. His name became known as Atmaram.
This story was originally written by Premchand, a legendary author of Hindi literature almost 100 years ago. Do let us know if you like the story. If it so happens that you did not like the story, even then, please let us know your choice so that we can find something you would like to listen. If you like the story, tell your friends as well. If you want to enjoy more stories like these from so many other Indian authors, subscribing the channel would make it easy. Bye for now.